Hello and welcome to the Lyceum Weekly Update number 14 for the week of March 17th, 2014. Starting off with an announcement, the Dark Sun Entertainment launch night is happening this Friday at the Valve Bar, 8 PM, costing $12 to get in if you want to check out some cool rock and metal acts, including In Hide Shadow, Domino, Cordia, and Melody Black. Then get down there and check it out. Also, if you're a rock and metal band and you want to get in with a booking agency who are, pretty cool, then go to the gig. Talk to the guys at Dark Sun Entertainment and get involved with them. Buy them a beer. Just start smoozing them. Schmoozing? Schmoozing? Smoozing? If you want to have an idea of the kind of plans that Dark Sun Entertainment have for their bands, then all you need to know is this. Dark Sun Entertainment aims to bring metal and hard rock of all forms to Sydney and put bands on an equal footing, so none of this not worth getting paid because the first band didn't bring as many people as they wanted. Bands on Dark Sun Entertainment's bills will get an equal cut. The only way that you don't get paid is if you didn't bring anyone, which really is fair enough. So it's kind of a good plan that works if you're a new local band happening, or even if you're a bigger band because you'll get paid for it. So if you have an interest, head down to the Valve Bar on Friday the 21st, check out the bands, and get in touch with these guys. I think my printer printed this crooked. Does that look crooked to you? Let's get started with launches. On Wednesday the 19th, there is a singer-songwriter EP launch happening at Jam Gallery in Bondi, and that's with Ben Goldstein. Then there is a jazz swing album launch happening at Venue 505 in Surrey Hills, from the sort of side band. It's a stripped back version of the band The Tango Saloon. It's called The Mango Balloon. Then on Thursday the 20th, there is a hardcore metal album launch happening at the Exchange Hotel Darlinghurst Spectrum Bar, also known as Hot Damn, and that is with Prepared Like a Bride. What does that mean, Prepared Like a Bride? If it was a normal band, I would say, all prettied up and nice makeup and hair, all that kind of stuff, but they're a hardcore metal band, so I feel like it's something rapey. Also on Thursday, there is a jazz soul album launch at Lizottes in DY with Parissa Boaz. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but I hope so. Then there is a swing a cappella barbershop album launch that's happening at the Vanguard in Newtown with the Nymphs. Not the Nymphos, the Nymphs. If it was the Nymphos, then their barbershop quartet would just sound like this. Then on Friday the 21st, an alternative rock EP launch happening at the Exchange Hotel in Darlinghurst with Release the Hounds. Then there's a country rock EP launch happening at the Old Manly Boatshed in Manly from Morgan Evans. A jazz album launch at the Seymour Centre Chippendale, University of Sydney. And that's with Greening from Ear to Ear, which I think the guy's name is James Greening. He's a trombone jazz player, so it's his kind of group. And an indie soul EP launch happening at Venue 505 in Surrey Hills from Beaten Bodies. On Saturday the 22nd, there is an alternative rock single launch. So many alternative rock bands, they're just everywhere. An alternative rock single launch happening at the Mona Vale Hotel in Mona Vale with Glass Ocean. And an alternative hip-hop rock kind of EP launch happening at the Oxford Art Factory in Sydney. That's going to be in the Gallery Bar, so not the one that you pay for and the free one that you kind of sometimes pay for. And that is with Slumber Haze. And lastly, there'll be a country rock album launch happening at the Petersham Bowling Club in Petersham with Cindy Boast. Now onto special gigs. There's a few special gigs happening this week. Starting on Friday the 21st, there is a 90s and 2000s punk rock night. That's happening at the Imperial Hotel in Erskineville in the Roller Den. And there will be original punk rock bands playing, but there'll also be a mix of members from Forever Ends Here, Sound of Seasons, and the Sweet Apes in one big group called Forever Sounds Sweet. And they'll be doing a whole heap of 90s and 2000s punk rock covers. Also on Friday is a folk blues rock night happening at the Jam Gallery Bondi. The reason why this is special is that they have 10 specialist brews. So you want to go in and taste some really delectable beer, then go there and do that. And you can just drink fancy beer. And finally, Friday is also the launch for Dark Sun Entertainment with their rock and metal lineup, celebrating the new booking agency. And that is happening at the Valve Bar in Sydney. And on Saturday the 22nd, there's going to be an alternative experimental pop rock kind of stuff happening at the FBI Social to celebrate their 3rd birthday. That's at the King's Cross Hotel in King's Cross. And finally, from about 2 PM at the Lewisham Hotel in Lewisham is ResFest, which is just all day, all night of just metal. Now moving on to some news. The Musicians Union of Australia. Musicians have a union? Has somebody told the government about this? Let's see what those scamps at our Musicians Union are up to. Musicians Union of Australia, violations found after Fair Work Australia investigation. Yes, the Musicians Union of Australia, also known as the MUA, there was some error things that were happening, so I got investigated into, and it turned out that there were a bunch of money that didn't get announced or quoted. Main thing we know is that it falls under annual wages. There aren't really any details about what happened. All we know is that there are 118 breaches of the Fair Work Act, and 71 of them have to do with reporting on annual wages. Apparently there's no misuse of funds or no really fuckery happening. And it's not known if it's going to go very far in the legal system or what's going to happen, if the union will be really put out as a result of it. For any of you who don't know, the MUA was formed basically as a lobby group for the government to try and improve things for musicians, getting certain wages increased, better access to venues and those sort of zoning things, as well as sorting out work referrals and visas for people going in and out of the country to do music. So they do a fair amount of important stuff for musicians in Australia, so hopefully something like this isn't really going to tank them. It's just going to be a bit of oops, we forgot, I'm sorry, let's just fix this up and all good. But due to my lack of legal knowledge of what actually would happen with 118 breaches of the Fair Work Act, I'm not really sure how that's going to go. And lastly, Band of the Week this week goes to Space Monk. They are an alternative rock, there's that word again, surfy, psychedelic kind of band. They're pretty cool. They only have a couple songs up on their Bandcamp, but they're really cool songs. So I suggest that you check them out. They're also having a gig this week on Saturday, and that's happening at the Glass Ocean single launch at Mona Vale Hotel in Mona Vale. And that's it for me today. If you want to listen to any of the bands that I mentioned, if you want to check out any of the gigs I mentioned, everything is linked in the little description thing that's down there. So click through, hear some bands. If you like them, go out and see them. Like this video, share it elsewhere. Subscribe to us if you want to keep up to date on what's happening with launches and news. And stick around for maybe another 10 seconds, and then you can hear a bit of a clip from Space Monk. So until next week, be good! Actually